Hello, welcome. In this video, I'm going to walk you through on how to use the employee appraiser template. Now, it consists of three sheets, and let's start with the first one to my right, the database. The database sheet is where you input the details of all the employees in your organization. But before we go through that, let's see some of the lists we need to fill before populating the database. Okay, the first on my to the right here, we have the department. So we have things like the production, the quality, the material, planning, procurement, sales, HR, and finance. You can replace all those departments to suit what you have in your organization. The next is the title. So it could be manager, senior staff, junior work, technician, worker. The gender, we have the male and female basically. The job type, either full-time or part-time, and the skill level, we have level 1 down to 5. So these are basic lists we're going to be using in this database. So you can just change this to suit your narrative. Okay, on the middle part here, we have the shop calendar list. So basically we have 12 months in a year. You don't need to touch anything here, just leave it the way it is. So these are the month name, the month number, and the working days. So on the work days here, you can change these values to the number of work days you have per month. So for January, it is assumed this company has 21 work days, February 24, and so on and so forth. So you are at liberty to change this particular working days into the numbers that fit your organization. Okay, the last but not the least, on the to the right hand side here is the penalty deduction percentage. So what this simply means is, for every penalty, let's say for every days missed for the month, there is an associated penalty attached to it. So when a staff missed work day for 1 day, it is assumed that, or it is calculated for now, that it is going with 15% deduction. If it is 2 days, 20% deduction, 3 days, 45. You can actually change this percentage deduction to suit what you have. So having said this is just the list we need to set up. When that is done, this is where you now put up the details of all your employees. So the first column is the employee name, the next column is the employee code, which is the employee work ID. This is the department. Now because of this list we have here, you can just put up any of the departments of the employee from this drop down list. So the same thing applies to the job title. Filling the job title, this is the gender, this is the job type, the hiring date, ensure you put in the hiring date when the employee was actually hired. The age of the employee, you can also put it here, and the basic salary the employee gets at the end of every month. So you can just use this column to populate the entrance of all the employees. So with this is just the explanation of the database. I trust we understand this. Okay, moving forward, we have the raw data. Now the raw data is where you enter the details of each employee's at every point where the appraisal is going to be taking place. So basically appraisals are mostly done quarterly basis, so at the end of every 3 months. Okay, having said that, let's see how this can be filled. So for the first, now you observe that this particular sheet has some columns that are actually graded out, like this column C down to column G. They are graded out. It means you don't need to type anything here, they will automatically pop up. So you type the first one, the date, the year. Okay, let's use a practical example now and come to the very top, to the very bottom here. Supposing we want to enter for for a particular employee. Let's see, on this certain date, the 3rd, for the month of March, this is March, that is 3, the ending of March 31st, then 2025, that is it. I just need to enter this date. Now the year will pop up automatically. This is the year, the month number, which is 3, the month name, which is March, the quarter itself will also come up, and the week number, so this is 14. So for this employee name, you can put up the name of the employee you want to evaluate. This is employee number 2, for instance. Immediately the employee code, department, the title, the gender, the job title, the job type, the hiring date, the age, the salary, they will all pop up automatically. Okay, how do we now fill this other part? This is where we have penalty. For instance, let's say this employee is going with, let's say, 1 penalty. This is just 1. Okay, sorry, this is where I'm to type the value. This place to type the 1 here, displays 1. So if I type the 1 here, now based on what we have at this back end. This place come to this place. You see, we said for a one, when it is one, the penalty is 15%, or the deduction is 15%. So just have one here. When 15% was deducted, so you see penalty deduction, what is left now is 85%. So for the skill level, you can also fill this place up. So the skill level, let's say, depending, if you can maybe just go with 2. Then the work day. So for the month of this evaluation is taking place the last day in the month of March. So for March, I think the March, what is the number of work days there? This is based on this template. Now we're going with 23. So let's say out of the work days, the employee was present all through, so 23. So when I put 23 there, you will observe something. Let me bring my cursor. Let's click on 1. So you see, for the absent rate is 0% because the employee was present all through. Activity is 100%. This penalty is 85%. First, you understand the 85% because 15% was deducted. So this KPI achieved, let's say based on internal evaluation, the KPI achieved by this employee, let's assume, is 80%. So with all this done, the performance will also get calculated for you. So you don't need to calculate or input any value here. Now the basic salary of this employee we're actually working with is this value. So if there is a need for this value, this employee to have a raise, so let's say we want to raise this employee by $500. I just had the 500, so the percentage of that value is 6%. So 500 is 6% of this value. If I to go with completely everything, maybe it's 100% raise, this is 8587, you will observe here will become 100%. But let's just say we're raising it by 500. If you're not raising it at all, just okay, sorry about that. Okay, now just the 500 we're actually adding. So with that, when we add the 500, it means that is 6% of the staff salary. So this is basically how to enter the raw data into the raw data sheet. So with this done, you can just input all the record for all the employees here. When you are done, just come to the dashboard here. This is completely automated. So at the start, what you need to do is just for you to refresh. When you add a new record, just refresh. So this is where to refresh. When we click here to refresh, any new records that has been entered will automatically pop up. If you want to have a full screen, click here to take it to a full screen mode. So basically, at the moment, we have a total of 224 employees, out of which 92 are male, accounted for 41%, and 132 are female, which account for 59%. Now, based on the job title, this is the spread. Now, for full-time and the part-time, you have it in this order. For the salary on activity as well, so the average salary, we have it in this order, and versus the activity. The activity simply means the rate of punctuality in the organization. So basically, it's obvious that it's completely even and it's over 80%. So in this organization, a good number of them are punctual to their work. Okay, now member rating, what it simply means is based on the job title rating. For workers, we have 48, technician 40, staff 44, and so on and so forth. Now the next one is the skill level. Now we have about 5 levels, and this is the divide in terms of percentage. So the age analysis is also showing here. Between the ages 25 to 29, we have it in this order. The gray one is the female, while the red one is the male. You can see it here. Now for the penalty or the general statistics, so let's move to the right hand side. So for the general statistic, we can also see information in this order. Now, like we said, for the penalty, we have things like this. The female have more of penalty compared to the male. The female had a total of 193, while the male have 140. Absent level is 17% absent level. For KPI, majority of the males are meeting their KPIs more than that of the female. And for the performance, we have 69 and 68 based on performance. Now the next is the increment. So it means on the average, this is the increment, or this is the summation of the increments that has been done so far, with the male having 12,400 while the female having a total of 13,800. So this is basically how the top part looks like. So if we move to, okay, let's also see to the right hand side, left hand side, to see how these other guys look. To the left hand side, we have this KPI achieved. So based on sales, quality, production, we have this visual. Performance progress, we have this visual. Monthly headcount, we have this visual. Absent rate, we have this visual. Salary increment rate, we also have this visual. And overall salary per job type category, we have this visual. Now one beautiful thing about this template is you can actually compare you can compare two staffs together. You can compare two staff. We're going to show that shortly. To the right hand side, if you want to filter the entire report, let's say based by gender, you can just click on the female. The entire report will be filtered. You will see it. If you want to filter by male, you can also filter by male. If you want to filter by job title, job type rather, full-time or part-time, it can be filtered. So this is male. For full-time, you have this information. You can also filter by skill level as well, and the dashboard is completely interactive. So to clear, just click this portion. To clear, click this portion as well. To clear, click this guy also to clear. Now the same thing applies to filtering by department. This is finance. You have all the details based on finance. If you want to check by title, you can filter by title. Let's clear this. Or you can also say finance for senior levels. So this is finance senior and all that. You can also check for filter by let me clear this. You can filter by by employee ID. So when you have more employee, you can see that employee ID here. Just scroll down, you'll see them here, and you can filter by a particular employee ID. Okay, so having done this, now the next thing we want to do is, let's see the comparison. So we can compare let's say two employees together. So how do we compare? Come to the right hand side. Okay, let me clear. Let's see if there's any slicer here that we need to clear. Let's see something we want to clear. Let's clear this slicer so that it returns back to normal. So when you move to the right, to the right hand side, yes, when you move to the right hand side, you have this. So this is where you now appraiser comparison. So for a particular member, just hit the code here, and for another member, hit the code here. You will see their basic details popping up. So for the first one, this is the employee name. This is the employee name, which is this particular one. The hiring date is here, the department is here, the staff, the title, the job type, the age, and the salary. You can also compare it with respect to this guy as well. You can see the details, and based on their statistics, skill level, you have these KPI, you can have these absent rates, you have these penalty, you have these, and so on and so forth. So I trust you understand how to use this template, and with what you have on the screen, you can make your decision as the HR of this company. So that will be all for this particular video. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Bye.